Good morning, children. Today we are again going to begin with subject geography, lesson 7, South America, part 2. I've already done part 1 with it. The second part, we are going to study about the physical features of South America. So there are 5 physical features. South America may be divided into the following main relief divisions, each stretching from north to south. So there are 5 physical divisions of South America. They are Western Mountains, also known as Andes. The second is the Western Coastal Strip. The third is the Central Plain. The fourth is the Eastern Highlands, and the fifth one is Islands. So today, children, we are starting with the first one, the Western Mountains, also known as Andes. I am reading on page 121. Follow it. Western Mountains, Andes. The Andes, also known as Western Cordillera, is the longest mountain system of the world, extending for about 7,250 kilometers from Panama to Strait of Magellan in the south. So even the Western Mountains and the Andes, they are also known as the Western Cordillera, and it is made up of the longest mountain system of the world, which extends from 7,250 km from Panama to Strait of Magellan in the south. Their average height is about 4,000 meters above sea level. That is the average height of the Andes Mountains. The Andes form an unbroken stretch of young fold mountains. So these Andes mountains are made up of young fold mountains. They are which flank the Pacific coast from the Caribbean Sea to Cape Horn. So it is flanked. It has the Pacific Ocean at the side along with the Caribbean Sea, which stretches till Cape Horn. In comparatively recent times, tertiary period, the Andes were folded into a complex system of ranges and intermontane plateaus and basins. So it is also made up of intermontane plateaus and basins. Majestic volcanic ranges include, so all these comes in the Western Mountains, that is made up of the Andes mountain, and apart from the mountains it also has intermontane plateaus and basins, plus it has some volcanic ranges of mountains where there are some active volcanoes. They are active volcanoes includes Cotopaxi, Chimborazo, and Coahoma in Bolivia, and Ojos del Salado in Argentina. So these are majestic volcanic ranges. The Andes consist of two main parallel ranges which form the western and the eastern side of the mountain system. So the Andes have two parallel ranges, means parallel means side by side. So it forms the western and the eastern cordilleras. It is known by the name of western and eastern cordilleras, and these are also a part of the mountain ranges of the western mountain physical features. Mount Aconcagua is the highest peak in Andes. So this is the highest mountain peak of the Andes. These ranges enclose high plateaus such as the Bolivian plateau. As I told you earlier, it is made up of high plateaus, mountain plateaus, and some volcanoes also. So these ranges enclose high plateaus such as Bolivian plateau and vast basins. Lake Titicaca is located in one of such basins on the Bolivian plateau at a height of 3,800 meters above sea level. The western slope of the Andes give rise to only short streams, but many numerous large rivers drain the eastern slopes flowing into the Amazon River. So it also give rise to short streams and small rivers which ultimately flows to the largest river of the world, the Amazon River. The Pacific side of the Andes is unstable and subjected to earthquakes. So the Pacific side of the Andes is not very suitable for any type of waterways or navigation because of the earthquakes. It is subjected to earthquakes. So over there it is just like that. No human activity or anything takes place much over there. The second physical feature which we'll read about is the Western Coastal Strip. Now, as the name suggests, strip, it means a narrow strip of lowland. It is a piece of narrow strip of lowlands. It is flanked by, means the sides. It is flanked by high Andes on the east and Pacific Ocean on the west. So, this low, narrow strip of lowlands, that is the Western Coastal Strip, it is known as. One side on the east, it has high Andes mountains, and on the west, it has the water body, the Pacific Ocean. It is wider in the north, and in the southern west, the coastal strip is fringed by a chain of islands. So in the southern west, the coastal strip means the western coastal strip has a number of fringe, means the sides are, it has a number of islands, a chain of islands, and on the north side it is wider. The third physical feature is the central plains. The central plane. Central means in between, in the middle. So, the middle plane, you can say it in a simple word. The central plains. These occupy about one half of South America. So, the central plain occupies about one half of South America's continent, and they consist of three main areas. So, this central plain has three main areas. What are they? Let us see. The Llanos of Orinoco Basin first. The second is the Amazon Basin. The third is the Paraguay or Plata River Basin. The three rivers, the three main rivers, that is Orinoco, Amazon, and La Plata, drain into the Atlantic Ocean in the Central Plains. The first one we read about is the Llanos of the Orinoco Basin. Now, what is this? This consists of a large, almost featureless plain. So, it is a plain with nothing on it, plain it is, no physical features on it. It lies between the northeastern highlands and the Orinoco River. So, the location of this Llanos of Orinoco Basin is that it lies between the northwestern highlands and the Orinoco River, and it is a featureless plain. In the north is the Orinoco River Basin, covered with a tropical grassland called Llanos. So, this is the physical feature which you have in the Llanos of the Orinoco Basin. The second is the Amazon Basin. It is drained by, the name is telling, it is drained by the Amazon River and its tributaries, and is spectacular in size with some 20,800 kilometers of navigable waterways. So, this Amazon basin is a very important waterway for the people over there, and plus it is drained by the Amazon River, which is the largest river, with many of its tributaries, and it is spectacular in size. Its size is very huge and large, about 20,800 kilometers in size, the length. The Amazon is the largest. One more important point about it is that the Amazon River is the largest river system in the world. It rises from the Andes. The origin is from the Andes mountains and falls into the Atlantic Ocean. It flows through dense equatorial forest called selvas. So, the origin of the Amazon River is from the Andes mountain, and it begins from there. The birthplace is from there, and it comes down, it falls down and comes to the Atlantic Ocean. It rises from the Andes and it falls into the Atlantic Ocean. And in between, it crosses through the dense equatorial forest which is called as selvas. The third is the Paraguay or Plata River Basin. It is an important waterway. Why this Plata River Basin is important? Because it is one of the most important waterway which connects oceans to the interior of the continent. The main point is that through this waterway it connects the interior of the continent. That is why it's very important waterway. It is made up of three rivers. There are three rivers that flow in the Plata River Basin or the Paraguay: the Parana, the Paraguay, and the Uruguay. All the three rivers have their sources in the Brazilian highlands. So the main water source or the origin of all these three rivers, the Parana, Paraguay, and the Uruguay, are from the Brazilian highlands. The western part is an extensive alluvial plain known as the Gran Chaco. We are still talking about the central plain. So over here we are talking about the western part of the central plain, which is an extensive alluvial plain known as the Gran Chaco. South of the Gran Chaco is the Pampas, which is the most productive agricultural region. So in the central plain, the Pampas is said to be the most productive agricultural region of the Central Plains. The pampas are covered with fine grained stoneless deposits similar to loess. So the uh, plain over there, it is very fertile and good for agriculture, and it is made of the soil known as loess. To the south of the pampas lies the Patagonia desert. The river Paraguay flows into a large estuary at the Atlantic Ocean called Rio de la Plata. So estuary is a wide part of the river at a place where it joins the sea. Estuary is a wide part of a river at a particular place where it joins the sea. So children, we have done the three physical features of South America, that is Western Mountains known as Andes, also the Western Coastal Strip, and the third, the Central Plain. Now in part 3 we are going to study about the Eastern Highlands and the islands. Thank you.